What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. I am Ricardo, your NBA sports journalist, and if you are not paying attention to what Cade Cunningham and the Detroit Pistons are doing right now in these Eastern Conference Semifinals, you are missing one of the most compelling storylines in the entire 2026 NBA playoffs. Detroit just beat Cleveland 107-97 in Game 2. The Pistons are up 2-0 in this series, and Cade Cunningham just put on a masterclass that every single person who doubted this team needs to watch from beginning to end. 25 points, 10 assists, 50% shooting from the field, 50% from three, a perfect 8 for 8 from the free throw line, plus 13 on the night, an offensive rating of 131, a true shooting percentage of 71.3%. This was not a lucky game. This was not a hot shooting night that could have gone either way. This was Cade Cunningham announcing to the entire Eastern Conference that he is a legitimate playoff star, and the Detroit Pistons are coming for everybody. Let me take you through this game because the details make it even more impressive than the final score suggests. Detroit came out and immediately set the tone in the first quarter, outscoring Cleveland 25-18. A 7-point lead after one quarter in a playoff game on your home floor is exactly the kind of start you want when you are trying to build confidence and momentum in a series. Then, in the second quarter, the Pistons pushed it to 29-25, extending the lead to 11 at halftime. Cleveland made their run in the third quarter, outscoring Detroit 32-25, and for a few minutes, the Cavaliers looked like they might have something going. The lead was cut. The crowd in Detroit got a little nervous. You could feel the shift. And then the fourth quarter happened. Detroit outscored Cleveland 28-22 in the final period and closed it out decisively. Biggest lead of the game for Detroit? 14 points. Biggest lead for Cleveland in the entire game? 3 points. They led by 3 at some point, and that was it. They could never get over the hump against a Pistons team that was simply the better, more cohesive unit for 40 minutes. Now let us talk about the performances in detail, because there are multiple stories inside this game worth discussing. Cade Cunningham was the engine, but Tobias Harris deserves massive recognition. 21 points on 56.3% shooting, 7 rebounds, 2 steals, 2 blocks. He was making the right play every time, hitting mid-range jumpers when Detroit needed them, defending in the paint, and doing all the veteran things that do not always show up in highlight reels, but absolutely show up in the final score. Harris was +8 on the night, and his offensive rating of 122 tells you that every time he was on the floor, Detroit was doing damage. Duncan Robinson was electric off the bench. 17 points on 55.6% from the field, and an absurd 55.6% from three. He hit 5 threes on the night. 5. His efficiency score was 20, and he was +5. Robinson is the definition of what you need from a second-unit player in the playoffs. He punishes teams for collapsing on your star, and last night, he punished Cleveland repeatedly. Dennis Jenkins gave them 14 points with a 4-to-1 assist-to-turnover ratio. Ausar Thompson had 10 points on 62.5% shooting with 7 rebounds and 2 steals. Detroit's bench scored 26 points total and outscored Cleveland's bench 26-17. When your bench wins the bench battle by 9 points in a playoff game, you are going to win that game almost every time. Now let us talk about Cleveland, because understanding what went wrong for the Cavaliers is just as important as celebrating what Detroit did right. Donovan Mitchell had 31 points and was genuinely excellent. 45.8% from the field, 60% on 2-pointers, attacking the basket aggressively and getting to the line. He had 31 points, and Cleveland still lost by 10. That tells you everything about how poorly the rest of the team performed around their star. James Harden was a disaster. 3 for 13 from the field, 23.1% shooting, 4 turnovers, -15 for the night. His offensive rating was 64.7, which means every time Harden was on the floor, Cleveland was being massively outscored. This is a recurring problem for Cleveland in this series. Their second best option is just not showing up. In Game 1, he struggled. In Game 2, he struggled again. You cannot win a playoff series when your number 2 option is shooting 23% and turning the ball over 4 times. Evan Mobley had only 9 points and was -6 despite 3 steals and 3 blocks. The defensive numbers are fine, but he is not contributing enough offensively to make up for Harden's inefficiency. Jarrett Allen was actually solid, 22 points on 77.8% shooting from the field, but it was not enough because too many pieces around Mitchell were broken. Cleveland also shot just 21.9% from 3 on 32 attempts. They took 32 threes and made 7. In this era of basketball, if you are shooting 21.9% from 3 and taking that many of them, you are going to lose against a team as defensively sound as Detroit. The Pistons held them to that number not by accident, but by design. They contest every 3, they make you earn every open look, and when you miss, they push in transition. Detroit had 13 fast break points. Cleveland had 4. Here is the bigger picture of what this series means. The Detroit Pistons came into these playoffs after surviving an absolute war against the Orlando Magic in the first round. They needed 7 games to get past an 8th seed, and it was not comfortable for any of it. People were questioning whether Detroit was actually ready to make a deep run, whether the first round struggle exposed vulnerabilities that better teams would exploit in round 2. Cleveland was supposed to be the team that exposed them. Instead, the Pistons have come out in games 1 and 2 looking like the more complete team. They are defending at a high level. They are sharing the ball, 21 assists on 39 field goals in game 2. They are winning the bench battle, and Cade Cunningham is playing with a poise and an efficiency that you simply do not always see from young star players in high-pressure playoff situations. Game 3 is in Cleveland on Sunday. The Cavaliers have a 60.7% win probability at home, which tells you this series is far from over. Cleveland needs Mitchell to get more help. Harden needs to find himself from somewhere, and the home crowd at Rocket Mortgage Fieldhouse needs to bring an energy that shifts the momentum back. It can happen. Cleveland is too talented to go quietly. But right now, in this moment, the story of this series belongs to Cade Cunningham. 25 points, 10 assists, perfect from the line, leading his team to a 2-0 series lead against a veteran Cavaliers squad on their home floor. The league has been put on notice. The Detroit Pistons are not here by accident. I am Ricardo, your NBA sports journalist. Smash that like button, subscribe to the channel for daily NBA and WNBA playoff breakdowns, and drop a comment below. Do you think Cleveland can come back in this series, or are the Pistons about to close this thing out? Game 3 Sunday in Cleveland. I will see you there.